everyone, I'm Ashley, and thanks so much for tuning into my very first YouTube channel. This is going to be the first chapter of a very long journey into the world of YouTube, and I thought the most fitting video to start off with would be the classic Plan With Me. I started bullet journaling about 3 years ago, and I immediately fell in love with it. I've always enjoyed drawing, writing, and planning, so this was obviously the perfect fit for my personality and my hobbies. In 2020, I decided to create my Instagram page dedicated to sharing my bullet journal with other enthusiasts, and I fell in love with the community. Everyone was so welcoming, friendly, warm, and inspiring. I immediately felt at home in the community and always wanted to give other people the same feeling I got when I joined. As my Instagram page grew, I began meeting other people who were entirely new to the bullet journal game, and I discovered I had this huge internal need to help them on their own journey. Bullet journaling was such a big life changer for me, and I just wanted to help other people experience that too. I started incorporating helpful tips and guides into my feed to help out those beginners as much as I could. Fast forward to 2021, and I want to expand on that idea. I created this channel to give more advice in detail on how to start and maintain a bullet journal that's as creative and functional as you want it to be. Alright, so moving on to this cover page. This month's theme is a continuation of the floral theme I started in January as part of my year-long floral theme. Every month I'm going to try to improve my floral drawings while still playing around with a couple of different page layouts to keep it interesting. This page is actually inspired by one of my favorite accounts, Doodle Dots on Instagram. Her artwork is gorgeous, and she's the one who actually inspired me originally to do the florals in the first place after I ogled her work so much. Check out her page once you've finished this video. She is so creative and such a wonderful person. I'm drawing a bunch of different flowers here. Sunflowers, daisies, peonies, lilies, and asters. Then I'm just filling in some of the empty space with leaves. I made the lettering big, bold, and black to stand out a bit from the lighter, delicate flowers. This next page is going to be for my February goals. If you follow me on Instagram, you may notice that I generally stick to one kind of layout for my goals. This month I wanted to switch it up a bit and try something new, and I actually really like how this turned out. The little roses on each number is actually a really simple doodle with very little detail. Each center is really just a bubbly X shape with some bumpy, curvy petals working your way out. Throw in a couple leaves and voila! Next to each number, I put what my goal is and the steps I want to achieve throughout the month below it. I love how this spread turned out, and it made me want to go back to in the future. My goals for February are to film, edit, and schedule 4 videos for March, reach 1,500 followers on Instagram, finalize details for my Etsy shop launch in March, hopefully, and to make at least 10 journals that are ready to sell. Again, if you're already following my journey on Instagram, then you know all about my wins and struggles in creating my journals. I've really enjoyed sharing the process though, and I've met so many people that have been so encouraging and supportive, which has made such a world of difference to me. I'm actually toying with the idea of documenting starting my own business with these journals too, so if that's something you'd like to see on this channel, then comment below and let me know. I don't own any fancy Polaroids or printers. I just took the photo with my phone and I printed it off at Walmart for like 50 cents. Another big staple of my journal is my monthly check-in. This is basically an overview for how I'm feeling at the beginning of the month or the end of last month. I write about how I feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. Anything goes here. When I was dealing with a herniated disc, I wrote about how the pain was feeling and what methods were or weren't helping. I write about how my anxiety levels are, how I'm doing in my fitness routines, what's stressing me out, what I'm excited about. Anything that weighs on my mind goes here. Obviously, I need most of this space for writing, so I opted for a border on each side with flowers. One of my new favorite pages is the Highlights of the Month page. I love this page as a fun way of looking back on the month and remembering the good things that happened. This page is super minimal, similar to my January cover page. Just one big ol' H with some flowers. These next two pages are going to be my very first 2-page brain dump spread. I've always stuck to 1 page and usually it ends up pretty cramped, so I decided to try out 2 pages this time. Brain dumps are one of my favorite pages too because they're so helpful for getting everything off your mind and onto paper. This is great because I find that I can then look everything over, categorize it, and assign it elsewhere to be dealt with if I need to. I know a common question when you start bullet journaling is, what do you put in a brain dump? And the answer is anything. Groceries, random to-dos, a new band if you don't want to forget it, a phone number, inspirational quotes, tips you found for a project you're working on, when you last watered your plants, literally anything. When I started learning bookbinding, my brain dump pages were full of tips for learning the process. Measurements, tools I needed, prices for those tools, channels to learn from, and names of books to check out were plastered everywhere. However, if you're looking for more info on brain dumping, check out my Instagram for more tips on how to utilize one yourself in your own bullet journal. This next page is for a new habit tracker layout I've actually never used before, so I'm curious to see how it works out. I drew out a calendar in Legend, and each habit gets a different dot style. I'll add a relevant dot to each day of the month a habit is done. I made each dot black and white with different patterns instead of colors because I found out earlier on that I'm just not likely to fill out my tracker if I have to keep markers on me. I use my bullet journal a lot at work, so bringing a bunch of markers to fill out my journal just wasn't going to happen for me. This is another page that I forgot to add to the beginning of my journal, and it's also another first for me. I saw a lot of people were doing a word of the year page. The word you choose is intended to represent a feeling or focus that you're going to go into the year with. With that in mind, I chose the word growth. This year I have so many big goals for myself, and I intend to grow into a successful and confident entrepreneur. I got the inspiration for this picture from Pinterest. I love the look of the broken up florals and hexagons, so I had to do it. I also love that the florals and the word of the year meshed perfectly well together, so I was really happy with this page. Okay, on to the weeklies. I'm a big lover of minimalist weekly themes. They keep things simple, and I generally need a lot of space in my weeklies because I write a lot. This spread doesn't have a ton, but I did want to add a couple flowers to keep it classy. Circular weekly layouts have always been one to catch my eye, so I wanted to try that out this month too. I like a lot of structure in my weeklies, so it kind of stresses me out a little bit not knowing how much space to give myself on this spread. This drawing is actually inspired by a tattoo I saw on Pinterest, and I fell in love. I decided to draw up one of my own for this spread, and I like how it turned out. This week is going for a super minimal layout with just the drawing of the dahlia in one corner and the mini calendar in the other corner. This spread was actually a really nice break after the more intensive page before it. For each day, I'm just using a more neutral pink Tombow brush pen to add a little splash of color and separate the days. I also learned that I love the look of mini calendars for weeklies, and they're super helpful for a glance at the month. I also used a neutral gray just to outline the week of the month, so this is helpful to keep track of what day it is. The final weekly of the month is actually a vertical layout. I rarely do vertical layouts because I find I write way too much for them. When something could be written in about 2 to 3 words, I tend to write it in about 6 to 7, so vertical weeklies tend to get crammed pretty quickly. On this week though, I'm going to try to write in point form as much as possible to keep this spread clean. We'll see how it goes. I separated the last column into 2 rows for Friday and Saturday. I realized halfway through making this spread though that I always start my weeks on Sunday, so it wouldn't actually be in the weekend that got the shorter columns. I guess hopefully I just won't be too busy on Friday. Up top, I added a big border of florals. This layout was actually inspired from one of the first accounts I followed on Instagram, bujo. She does amazing floral spreads in her journal and they're all beautiful. So I wanted to channel a little bit of her energy for this spread. A monthly review page has become another staple in my setups. I use this page to take a look at the past month and everything that happened, or didn't happen. I go over any big events, my progress on my goals, what I excelled or struggled in, any new music, TV, movies, podcasts, anything that helped make that month stand out. If there are things that I struggled with that month, I also try to think of solutions to help myself going forward into the next month. This page is really helpful for setting up my goals in the next month because I can get a good idea of what parts I may have had difficulty in, and I can start planning on how to set myself up for success in the next month. The final page of this February setup, the goodbye end page. Is it necessary? No. But it's fun, and it also allows me to start my next month on the left page, which is super satisfying. Something you may not know, but also may have gathered, I don't know flowers. I know a couple names, but I have no clue what the names are of the majority of these flowers that I've drawn today. I have no idea what these flowers even are, and I just find them online to draw them. So if you're a floral buff, please feel free to tell me what flowers I am drawing right now, and I will keep that for future reference. That being said, this marks the end of this plan with me. If you enjoyed watching this, please hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe. It lets me know that I'm on the right track and that you'd like to see more. However, if you didn't enjoy it, do hit the dislike button and comment with what you think I should change. Stay tuned for my next videos coming up soon, where I'll start sharing some amazing advice for setting up and achieving your goals in your bullet journal. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.